the number one condition of humanity is justice. Within the context of redemption, if there is no justice, perhaps we are in the George Orwell's world, Animal Farm. Honorable Aguru, one drama played out on the floor of that hallowed green chamber where you once sat when Patricia Ete Dimeji Bankole held sway. A member of the present assembly, Honorable Mark Tessa, while presenting the petition he received from the thief, his kinsman based in United States of America, the deputy speaker who presided, shut that petition down. Don't forget, just about 2 years ago, when you look at the remittances monetarily from Nigerians in the diaspora, over $18 billion. As a former member of that house, I want your take on this.
It's just simple. Why is it simple? It was wrong for the presiding officer, who happened to be the deputy speaker, to have refused the petition presenter to lay the petition before the House. Why? The rules of the House were so clear, and I still believe they are the same as it is as regards petition. Anybody presenting petition, the rule says, will raise up his hand, address the chair, that means address the presiding officer, then tell the House the source of the petition, and definitely it must be from either his constituents or some stakeholder outside who believe in that particular member. Once he has mentioned his name, the topic of the petition, it does not necessarily have to go into the content that the petitioner seeks justice from the National Assembly. He will seek the permission of the presiding officer to lay the petition before the House. And that is all. The content of the petition, as at that point in time, does not concern the House. It has to go to the House Committee on Petition, because there is a committee on petition. So it goes to the House Committee on Petition. You should have allowed the petition to be laid, then allow, if at all he wants to influence it, let him go to the House Committee on Petition. Either they look at it or refuse to look at it. That is all. He doesn't have that right. It does not have that right. It does not possess that power. The rules and the constitution of the rules of the House and the constitution of the country, both of them do not allow him to do what he did. It was overbearing and overreaching. Overreaching and overprotecting the executive.
But don't you think, as a former member of that hallowed chamber, don't you think the colleagues that sat down were also complicit? Can we call it, ritual of silence in the face of intimidation, oppression, and injustice? Do you think all the members who sat and watched this shameless show, don't you think they are also complicit?
My take on that is this. The leadership of the House, as represented that day by the Deputy Speaker as the presiding officer, was guilty.
Guilty?
Was guilty.
To what extent?
To the extent that they are trying to shut out some people who have grievances with the government of the Federation.
Especially people from the Benue
Yes,
State.
Yes. We are not out of this country when the TV people were being murdered by the invaders. And the invaders in that line were the Fulani herdsmen.
Allegedly.
That is what we have come to realize. And they invaded, according to them, from the neighboring state, the contiguous state of Nasarawa State. And once they have perfected their act, they retreated back to Nasarawa. So if it is so now, why would the petition not be taken by the House to look into it? We have had to take petitions from Jos when Jos was burning, particularly Plateau State. And the House Committee had to visit during that 6th Assembly, Plateau State, on behalf of the House. And reports were churned out. Whether the reports were debated or not is another thing. They should have allowed the House Committee, or should allow the House to take the petition. But with regards to the members, I don't think, maybe because there have been so much hues and cries about the conduct of members, I expected, even if they had shouted, you don't know, Dr. Tunde, you don't know anything. With the gavel,
Tell me what I don't know.
Yeah, with the gavel. Even if the presiding officer is the only person that is going against that, and once he backs the gavel, that is the end. Whatever he says.
So with that gavel, the presiding officer can commit murder.
No, he can
on
do,
challenge.
He can do and undo. You will only cry, turn the house into a rowdy session. Subsequently, if he finds his means,
the Salisu Buhari had the gavel.
He will adjourn.
Salisu Buhari had the gavel.
What did he do with it?
MLM had the gavel.
They also did those things.
Chuba Okadibo had the gavel.
They
were shown the door.
They also
what happened?
Not at that instance. It has to build up. It has to what? To build up. Maybe it's building up.
Maybe it's building up.
Maybe it's building up.
Maybe it's building up.
Maybe it's building up.
If you are just joining us, this is Dailogue Platform. We are transmitting live from Nelson Mandela Studio, Space FM 90.1 and Afro Space TV, Liberty Stadium or Liberty Road, Ibadan. Next, still on the drama that happened on that floor. Don't forget, I see her with me in the studio, a lawyer, an activist, a public affairs commentator of note, and a member of the 6th National Assembly when Patricia Ete and Dimeji Bankole presided over that Aloshimba. I see her with me, Honorable Lanre Aguru. Don't touch the dial. Let's listen to Honorable Mark Tessa and have a thorough mental picture of what played out in that chamber. I'll be back.
Representing Gwe East, Gwe West Federal Constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from the Mutual Union of the TIV in America against the federal government of Nigeria. And the issue has to do with the ancestral land of the TIV people that seem to have been possessed in recent times through various attacks, and the fact that they are languishing in IDP camps till date without any intervention. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I want to lay this petition before this honorable House.
Did you say thieves in America?
The petition is from the Mutual Union of TIV people in America. Yes, there's a very...
If they're in America, could they really be an interested party here? Do they really know what is exactly going on?
Okay, yes, they do, because they have their family members and their people here with them, and that as a pressure group bringing this petition, because they believe that they are also stakeholders.
Mr. I don't want to make a blanket statement regarding those who are in diaspora. If this petition is coming from those who are within the country, I believe it has a very good standing.
No,
People living in America and then coming to lodge now.
No. There are Nigerians who are not all resident there. Some of them are just studying. Some of them just went there to do courses.
No, if you say they are union, if they are Nigerians, they are Nigerians. But I don't know if you have
Nigerian citizens.
If they have dual citizenship.
No, they don't have dual citizenship. They are all Nigerian citizens. That's why I said it's a union of an association, just like we have association of lawyers in other states. From another.
Register with the Corporate Affairs of Nigeria.
Sorry?
Register with the Corporate Affairs of Nigeria.
Which one? The association I'm talking about?
Yes, all associations are registered with Corporate Affairs of Nigeria.
We can also begin to look at the fact that our Constitution, Section 40, does not stop any of us from freedom of association.
I'm not saying that. I'm not stopping that, but I'm saying if they are Nigerians and living in Nigeria are bringing issues, I agree. But somebody in America who is far away in this country.
This is not the first time we have presented petitions, even from those who are not resident.
That is why
we will
the Speaker has to allow the petition to be laid until he's convinced. I'm not convinced that somebody from America should come here and then be laying issues in Nigeria. I'm not convinced.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, would you allow for the relevant committee to also look at it?
First, when you read the clause says with the permission of the Speaker, it means that the Speaker is convinced of the issues raised and the local standing of the person talking.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, you know we have a diaspora department, even as a country, that handles issues with Nigerians in the diaspora. And we do not tell them that they are not resident in Nigeria. Abike Dabri, a very right honorable member of this House, superintends over that, and we handle the issues of Nigerians as long as they're Nigerian citizens, even in diaspora. So these are still Nigerian citizens with Nigerian passports who are sending a petition.
I will refer you to the functions of the Committee on Diaspora. If you go through that one, it has nothing relevant to what you are now presenting.
No, I'm not even talking about the committee. I'm saying...
No, you are referring me to so that I will understand. Yes, we agree. That even in the House, we have the committee.
Your concerns...
That is for... Excuse me. That is for them if they have issues, for us to solve it for them. But out there, at their own comfort, I think they don't have this. The position...
So why do we bother about Nigerians in the diaspora then? Because why do we bother? Because we have a diaspora commission.
Please, I will not allow that petition to take...
Honorable Magdina, be guided.
Please.
Honorable Magdina, be guided.
I'm not convinced that we need to take that petition. Thank you.
Whip.
Honorable Magdina, be guided.
About what, Whip, sir?
Thank you. Take your seat, please. Professor.
What a drama, enveloped in absurdity
and deceit.
And deceit. Look at the argument. Marshaled by the presiding officer, Honorable Wase. I even learned he attended...
Also show that the argument he can fast is hollow and shallow in the hallowed chamber. Is
hollow and shallow
in the hallowed chamber. What a contradiction. Several times they had to take petition from those people in diaspora who were in jail. The question to ask is, how did they get petition smuggled out, signed by them, to be presented on the floor of the House? So why now is he rejecting a petition written by people from America on behalf of TV people? So it shows the leadership is not only complicit, it's lacking in depth.
Lacking in depth.
It's lacking in depth.
That's weighty.
No. The presiding officer, with due respect, happened to be my colleague. We went to the House about the same time too. But he has been lucky. He has been there since 2007. So with that detailed thing, he must have also seen that there were times when people in diaspora who send petition that please, for God's sake, come and rescue us. Abike Dabiri was mentioned there. I had to go when she was the chairperson of House Committee on Diaspora, moving from one junketing from one country to the other, trying to rescue people. And she will come back to the floor of the House to report that she was successful. It was based on petition. So why would the presiding officer now, Honorable Idris Wasi, reject that particular petition? It shows that the leadership of the National Assembly are being rubber stamped. They are the what they call them
remotely controlled.
It's over protecting the executive. The executive, but for what? No, the other thing is that if they had allowed the petition to be laid, and the House Committee on Petition will sit on it, what will happen is to call the signatories to the petition to come and defend the content of the petition. If the House Committee could not get them, that is when the petition will be dead. We should have allowed those who wrote the petition, let them come from America to come and defend it.
Does that not, Honorable, are you not worried? Does that not portray the kind of minds? You said the lacking in depth. Does that not portray the kind of minds?
In fact, I don't. If I
in that allo chamber,
if we see face to face, and I happen to have audience with him, I will tell him that sincerely. That is what it is.
Now,
that is what it is.
You see, and I think that brings us to the issue of, people talking about restructuring. And you have some people, coming out to argue that look, okay, restructure. I mean, we need to amend the constitution, and we have institutions in place, referring to the two chambers, the Senate and the Rep, and the various houses of assembly across the length and breadth of Nigeria, that they should be allowed to do the job. But some of us have argued, perhaps convincingly too, with what happened, what played out on the floor of that allo chamber, that it is like mandating a notorious alcoholic to take charge of a distillery. Are you not worried? You once sat in that chamber.
Well, I don't think I'll be worried. Why?
You are not worried.
I'm not.
But you are concerned.
If you say so, with what goes on there, or what within the polity. If it's within the polity, I'm concerned. But if it's within the National Assembly and the situation right now, I'm not worried. Why? Because I need to say it sincerely that no legislature would legislate itself out of existence. Like to corroborate what you have just said. No legislature, no House of Assembly will legislate itself out of existence. Like sitting there and say we are cancelling ourselves. It has to be through referendum. Recall what happened in Chile, sometimes in October last year. The Chileans decided that they didn't want the second chamber. They didn't want bicameral legislature. And they voted to amend the constitution, get a new constitution, and eradicating the upper chamber, or how you call it. So that is the people themselves. It's not through the chamber that, okay, we have ceased to exist today. It's not a steering committee that after you are functions official, that means you have finished performing your functions, you will now say you are dissolved. So no legislature will do that. But it has to be through people. When you talk of restructuring has to, the people who are benefiting from the present situation will not listen to you, and they will not want to understand what restructuring is. You will recall since 2007, Assembly, the National Assembly has been amending the Constitution to what extent? Again, to a greater extent, I think during the 6th Assembly, it succeeded. But most of those things dealt with. When you go to state houses of assembly, some of them were rejected. Recall that Section 9 tells you, Section 9 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, defines how the Constitution will be amended. Even the Section 8, you are talking about how the boundary of the states and local government could be adjusted. It's also an amendment to the Constitution. But when you want to amend a section of the Constitution, it tells you how you to do it. 2/3 of the state houses of assembly must approve what the National Assembly approved before it becomes an amendment. Some of them go to the national state houses of assembly. The governors delegated the houses, and they rejected most of those things. So thereby, it is effort in futility. So we need to understand this, that we will begin to mobilize people right from the state houses of assembly. Then, when they are waiting for it, once it gets to them, they will be able to just assent to it, and that will be the end. But the structure of Nigeria is such that a section of the country has more members in the National Assembly than another section, because north-south dichotomy. We are bipolar. The north is there, the south is there, but the north, from time immemorial, has always seen itself as one. But people like you, Dr. Hamzat, will say there is no longer monolithic north.
Yeah.
So if there is no longer monolithic north, it has to play out on the floor of the house before people who are cynics like us will join you. Because that will play out on the floor of the house. Then we now see people from Benue say, no, we can't go with the position of the north. People from Nasarawa State will say we can't go with the people of the north. People from Plateau State will say we can't go with the people of the north. People from Kwara too, the so-called North Central, will also say, no, there's no way, we are not part of you. And which other ones? Maybe and probably Niger. So do we have this? No. When you look at the structure, you have 19 states in the north. There's the dilapidated structure of Nigeria giving us the clear view of what to do since 1999 that the Constitution has been in operation. Section 73 and section I think section which other one that relates to state 114 section 114 of the Constitution says every 10 years the Independent Electoral Commission will have to adjust the boundaries. With section 73, the senatorial district based on population. With section 114, based the state houses of our assembly. You understand? But since 1999, how many years are we into the democracy now? Getting to 18 years of democracy. None of it has been adjusted.
So
that is Lagos with increasing population. You now divide it. You divide the total population by 360 membership. If it gives you 380,000 people per federal constituency, you now see how many 380 people you will find in 23 or 24 million population. That is what Lagos ought to get. Instead of having 24 members as Kano. I don't know whether you understand. So by now, Lagos ought to have reached close to 30 or even 40 members on the floor. And what some state will be losing is probably Ekiti that has 6 will lose 2. Or Ekiti will only have 4. It's probably Ebonyi will no longer have 7 or 8 or 9 that it has now. Will be decreasing, while some other ones will be increasing.
Now we are still going to come back to that issue of constitution. And we are going to make copious references to what played out on a single day in Ibadan. You know, some people converge on Mapo Hill while other groups, you know, converge in Bodija. And they have argued. I think there is this, what I want to refer to as congressional consensus. That look, the 1999 Constitution was fraudulently procured. That even the president, OBJ, Ebola, did not see the Constitution until he was sworn in. The Constitution that he was supposed to defend and protect. As a lawyer, when you look at the first page, the first paragraph, says, "We the people of Nigeria." I don't know whether lawyer Guru was consulted. If you are not consulted, that means your head was shaven in your absence. But Let us now listen to Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed. He's the spokesperson, Northern Elders Forum. But before that, this is Dialogue Platform. We are transmitting live from Nelson Mandela Studio, Space FM 90.1 and Afro Space TV, Liberty Road, Ibadan. I see her with me. My guest is a lawyer. He is a public commentator of no mean repute, a former member of the 6th National Assembly, Barrister Lanre Aguru. My name is Dr. Tunde Amzat. Let's listen to Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, spokesperson, Northern Elders Forum. I'll be back. Don't touch.
How can I be satisfied? I feel sorry for the president. I mean, if he doesn't do anything, and these are the kind of excuses that you hear about what he's doing, then really we are in very serious trouble. A lot worse than we are. You don't feel empathy. You don't feel a presidency which recognizes the fact that it has very serious problems, and the country has very serious problems, a lot more than the presidency that it has. And then all you hear is we should pray. We are praying, and we will continue to pray. And one of the things we are praying for is that God should show President Buhari the way, either to fix his country as quickly as possible or to give way so that somebody else, the same way that he said in 2013, if you can't fix the country, there are other people who can do it better. That is the truth. We are, as Northerners, we are dying like nothing. Other Nigerians are dying too. It's not just the Northerners. Death, killing is becoming a national pastime. More and more people are dying from violence. How many people are going to die before President Buhari recognizes the fact that he needs to do something serious? We don't have the time to wait. You can tell us all the things that you think he's committed to, but we measure him by just one thing. What is the outcome of your commitment? What is the result of all these things you're doing? We don't see them on the ground. We don't see them on the road when we travel. We don't see them in our homes. We don't see them on the farms where poor people go. Everywhere you go, the country has become more dangerous to live in. The Sultan was absolutely correct. Now, and if you know what it takes for someone like the Sultan of Sokoto to actually speak out and say what he said, if you know what it is for a loyalist of President Buhari like Senator Shatima to say what he said on the floor of the Senate, then you must know that the situation is a lot worse than even what the Northern Elders Forum said. What we said is simple. It's an exercise of a democratic right. An elected president is elected to perform a job. He doesn't perform that job, you tell him, please, let's have someone does it. These are people who, Sultan of Sokoto is the kind of person who doesn't speak unless it becomes absolutely essential. Senator Kasim Shatima has been a diehard loyalist of President Buhari from day one. And he had supported President Buhari with his life. If these people can say what they said, if Governor Zulum of Borno State, a professor who would know the implication of saying in public, bring back South African mercenaries, if he can say that to the president's delegation in Borno, because our military obviously is failing, because that's why you bring mercenaries. If you put all these things together and you put them within a context, it just tells you one thing. The president has lost control of our security. There's no other way around it. There's no spin you can put on it. There's nothing else that can be said that Nigerians are not going to be impressed by anything other than a dramatic improvement in our security. And if you can't do that, the only thing to say is, I'm sorry, sir, we don't see any evidence that you appreciate and understand that we are scared, we are dying, and we'll continue dying under your watch. And it is not acceptable.
Honorable, I know you listened to that speech coming from no other person than Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, the spokesperson, Northern Elders Forum, and he made copious references to the concerns of people who used to be die-hard Buharis. Professor Zulum, the governor of Borno State, the former governor of Borno, Shetima, and even the Sultan himself. Is the northern establishment beginning to notice that something has really gone wrong? And I want you to situate that within the context of the concern exhibited by that activist in Kasok. I'm talking about Bishop Matthew Azan Kuka. You know, maybe because that thing came from a Christian minority in that particular axis. But Sultan spoke. Zulum, a former governor, Shetima. What is happening? Is Nigeria redeemable? Honorable?
Let's start from where Dr. Ahmed Baba Ahmed stopped. Recall he was a presidential aspirant in 2019. Again, he was also in INEC too, as Secretary of INEC. Not only that, it's just now that he just finding his voice because the end is coming home to roost. The North is at a greater receiving end than any other section of the country. And it shows that the monster that the North has planted and sowed has germinated and is bearing fruits. The roots are widely spreading on the ground. What is the monster? The monster of lack of education for the children of the greater masses of the people from the North.
Jonathan built about 200 Almajiri schools in the North when he was president.
The monster that said that you can begin to procreate, nothing stops you. Without government taking care of these people, giving them the necessary orientation, they are no longer finding it.
Procreation without responsibility.
So these people now live among them. They cannot move out. Their children who have gone to sophisticated schools could also not move freely within the city. So they are foreigners in other people's land, as against being home, enjoying the life of their life. So on the basis of this, any reasonable person will come out and say, no, there is a serious security situation on ground. Sultan, he has also seen that the masses of the people with stone and stick, with nothing to feed on, could come out and go to the palace. So he needs to talk, because it was not happening before. Oligarchs were well respected in the North until now, that people are saying, no, an angry man is an angry man. So nobody knows anybody. That is one. On Matthew Kuka, is the point, he has been on this for long, but they have told them that they need to rein in the monster that I said, but they did not believe him. Maybe probably because it comes from the minority end in the North. But now that the monster has all of a sudden started to fight its way to anybody's home, they have seen it. Nobody could pass with big vehicle, even with dilapidated vehicle, from Abuja to Kaduna without being attacked on daily basis. They have all resulted to having to take to train. If anybody had told you that the movers and shakers who live in the North with Kaduna State as the headquarter, or Kaduna City as the headquarter of the northern elite, will not take their cars to show off on the road, the big cars. If somebody had told you that will happen, you would have said nothing could stop them. But it has stopped them now. The monsters are waiting, seriously, laying siege along the road for anyone who dares them to come out, and that person will be shown the way to heaven. So these are things we need to combine together. These are things they have said separately, but people did not take it easy. They don't see it as coming. But now the end has come home to roost. You spoke about the Constitution. Fine. Section Decree 24 of 1999 brought about the Constitution of 1999 as amended. And he said there was a Democratic Constitution Coordinating Committee set up by another decree of 1998 to bring about the democratic experiment of 1999. And that decree 24 of 1999 said, having conducted, that is the opening paragraph, having conducted all elections. So that was when the decree promulgated the Constitution into an existence. It was after election had been. So I mean, there was no Constitution that guided us into the democratic exercises that we did, that we undertook in 1999. There was no Constitution. We were doing it on the basis of decree. Fine. The opening paragraph said, we, the people of Nigeria.
Were you there?
We, no, I'm saying the Constitution says so. I'm not saying it. I'm just quoting the Constitution.
Were you there? I'm asking you.
Let me finish. I will answer that question.
Okay.
So we, the people of Nigeria, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live as one in harmony and peace, as one indivisible and indissoluble entity. Indivisible, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity and harmony as one indivisible and indissoluble entity.
What do you make of that?
I know you have played the song. We have to redeem ourselves.
Is Nigeria redeemable?
We have to redeem ourselves. Far it is.
And before you answer that question, I think some people are now beginning to see former President Goodluck Jonathan as the man who saw tomorrow. That he saw all these things coming to play. Now, let's listen to former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, during the runoff to the 2015 election. I'll be back.
We can no longer go backward. We must move forward. And I said that when you talk about change, these people who are talking about change refuse to participate. They say they will not implement it. So what change are they bringing? Every time you listen to them, you see the bitterness in their hearts. Bitter, anger, as if somebody has taken their property. Venom. And I said that, look, you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't have a peaceful heart, a friendly heart, you cannot bring peace to people. For you to bring peace, you must be somebody who can forgive. Somebody who brings peace. It's not somebody who will ask people to go and kill that will bring peace. It will bring crisis to us. Especially now that society is so sophisticated and small light arms and small weapons are all over the place. You set this country ablaze. And we will not go back to those primitive days. This country must move forward.
Former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, it sounded like a prophet.
When you said he was the Nostradamus of our time, I was questioning you with him, but when I listened to what he said, have we actually moved forward? No. You know, what he said is now people are saying it, and I want to echo his here now by saying that they should take us back to where they picked us from. The people are clamoring now that take us back to where you picked us from. Where did you pick us? You pick us from where a liter of petrol was 87, where a bag of rice was 7,500 or at most 8,500. That is what people are now saying. We want to go back to where you pick us from. You promise us change.
So the promise of change has metamorphosed
No, they have changed the promise. They have changed the promise.
Change.
No, they have changed the promise. They promised us change. When they got there, they now changed the promise.
So they have changed us.
No, I will not. I said they changed the promise.
So
so if they were changing the promise, they have changed us. That is fine. But they promised us change. They have changed the promise. People are now saying, please take us back to where you picked us from. We want to witness where we buy fuel for 87 naira. That is it. The other thing is this. If not because the clamor for change said the baboon and the dogs will be soaked in their blood, are we not witnessing it now? The nation will be set on fire. Is the state nation not on fire now? During this time, it was restricted to the northeast. We now have it all over the country. All over the country. All over the country. It's no longer in the north. Non-state actors are taking over the act of governance. Non-state actors are the one dictating. Perhaps they have not become warlords because Nigeria is not in the situation like Libya is. When you have weak leadership, what you have is the Libya experiment or the Libya situation. There's no single person in charge in Libya today. It is warlords, warlords, warlords. There's no single person in Yemen today. We are having a situation of warlords, warlords. And we need to jaw. That is why the clamor for restructuring. Let us sit down and discuss this matter. That way we are talking of redemption. You see, the situation in Nigeria has reached that stage where despair and despondency are taking over. The cries, when despair and despondency take over, everybody becomes blind. If everybody is blind, that means despair and despondency will lead to blindness. And blindness is very, very... bitterness.
Sorry to cut you. Let us, take this argument further. Because some people, whether rightly or wrongly, they have made allegation that President Muhammad Buhari's roots is traceable to Niger. And something is beginning, to manifest through his action or inaction. You recall that multi-billion-dollar rail project from Katsina to Maradi. And recently, the Nigerian president conferred on him the highest honor of that country. And almost 24 hours or 48 hours later, President Muhammadu Buhari named a street in Abuja after the Nigerian president. Can you begin to see a nexus between this allegation and what is manifesting?
Now, let me analyze the first one. You see, the issue of rail from Katsina to Maradi seems to be the costless rail project in African.
Costless?
Costless. I will give you analysis. It is 285 kilometers in length, and it's going to be built at the cost of $1.9 billion. If you divide $1.9 billion by 285, it will give you $6.997 million per kilometer. There's another one to be built from Cotonou to Niger Republic. That is Niamey in Niger Republic. From Niamey in Niger Republic to Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso. From Burkina Faso, that is Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso, to Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire. A total length of 2,900 kilometers, and it's going to be built at the cost of $5 billion. That one amounts to $1.7 million per kilometer. If you deduct $1.7 million per kilometer from Nigeria with $6.797 million per kilometer, you still get $5.2 million.
You are indirectly or directly, you are accusing this government of over-invoicing.
Much more than that. They are government
that is fighting corruption.
They cannot justify that. They cannot in any way justify that. They cannot in any way justify that. I'm talking of 285 kilometers of rail to be built at the cost of 1.9 billion. It's not my figure, their figure. And another one, go and search it, you will get it. The 4-corridor rail from Cotonou in Benin Republic to Niamey in Niger Republic to Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso, former Upper Volta, then back to Cotonou back to Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire. Go and get it. 2,900. Of course, that one is hybrid. Hybrid in terms of they will rehabilitate some part, they will build new one. That is why they call it hybrid. Even at that, 2,900 kilometers at the cost of $5 billion. And I've told you the amount. When you calculate it, that is it. So, invariably, I'm against that totally. And when people raised their voices, they said it was because the Niger Republic has a refinery that produces or processes 20,000 liters of fuel per day. So that